What's happening, guys? Good night. Good night. So this is what we're gonna go over tonight. We're gonna go over a couple of things. I gave you guys a couple of plays yesterday. A lot of them turn out to play out really well. Um, both of them did over 100%. So if you guys had watched that video yesterday, gave you some highlights as far as what we're looking at into the market, as far as for the following day. Um, but before I jump into that, guys, let me just go over a couple things as far as housekeeping. I do run a Discord, so everything that I talk about, you can find in the Discord. I do a live call out every single day. This is my Discord, and you could see in Profit Flex, we talk about Spy. Spy, we did. I said Spy would have a green day today. You could check the live that we did as well, which I post every day on the YouTube. So I post all our lives on YouTube afterwards, after we're done trading. So you'll actually see what we're doing inside there. But right here, we have all the trades that we did. People are making money in here. 218% on SPY today, guys. 218%. That's amazing right there. So when it comes to trading, guys, we're not making it complicated. Where there's certain things that you have to pay attention to. Today we had news, and everything was good on the news. Unemployment came in low, right? And then we have retail sales that also came in low, which gave us an indication that the market was going to push to the upside. Okay. So with that in mind, I showed you guys a couple things which I'm gonna go over with you guys tonight, and then show you what I'm thinking for as a possible trade for tomorrow. I'm gonna give you guys a possible trade for tomorrow that you could pay attention to. Now, today on IWM market open, and I told you guys we might gap up, but what I was looking for is a come down, is for it to come down first and just give you a wick right here, which it did. And once we break right here, we saw the upside, and the target, of course, was right here. So the first target was right here, which it hit target perfectly. Okay. So we got into those, did 50. I got out at 50. I posted a little over 50%. There's other people that was in the Discord that did over 50% as well. But great trade on this. Great trade on this. Now, the contracts I did was, yeah, it was tomorrow's contract. So if I was doing same day contracts, those contracts would have been way more, right? But great trade as far as for IWM. The reversal candle was right there. It was in plain sight. This is a hammer, which is a perfect setup when you're talking about trades, right? Then we also had SPY. And SPY, I gave out yesterday as well. SPY looks exactly the same way. And I love the fact that these came down, even though they gapped up a little bit, they came down and closed that gap. Once they closed the gap and break that day, it was on, right? So my targets, all my targets hit, guys. All these red lines was my targets. We came up here, tested here at first and reject. This is where we took most of our profits, right here at 70%. And then price came down. If we go to the lower price time frame, you could see right here we was out of this trade within like by 10 o'clock we was done with this trade. Okay, so by 10 o'clock we was done with this trade. It came up here, and then bomb, it came down. Once it came down, right, I looked at it and I said, listen, I'm gonna do a 628 call, which I did 180% on that call. But I sold it up here when it started pulling back, but afterwards it ran up and it did well over 200%. So those are the stuff that you could definitely get if you just know what to look for with the charts. Again, on the day, we had our targets. I had my targets set, and you could see why the targets. Some people would be like, all right, how do you get your targets, right? Well, we know that SPY right now is approaching all-time highs. And I said, well, SPY might break up again to all-time highs, right? So the first target, if you look left, we had some rejection right here. So that was my first target. We had a rejection. We came all the way back down, which was the first sign. Once we came here, we rejected that line, which it showed on the 15-minute candle right here. On 15 minutes, it came right up and reject, right? But then we have the inside bars, and then we see this reversal right here on the 15-minute to the upside. So once we saw that reversal, we know that we could go back in. I don't take no more than 3 trades for the day. Okay. Today I actually took 4, in the sense that these trades that I did at that point was lotto calls, because I'm taking trades with money that I already made profit with. So I use profit to do these trades, and they became even more profitable in a sense, right? But on the day, these were the targets. The next target I chose was right here. We came up right here after breaking this. We rejected again and fall. So we know that we're going to experience something right here. And then, of course, these are the other targets. Now, it was a simple trade. It wasn't difficult or nothing. It's just, if you have time, a lot of times when we're trading SPY, I use same day contracts. I day trade. If you want to use next week contracts, you could hold on to them a little bit longer. But just remember, every pullback costs your contract to decay as well. So for me, if I'm seeing 70% on a trade, 100% on a trade, I'm taking those. There's nothing wrong with taking profits. Okay. And then we got into a third trade, and that third trade was Tesla. Okay, so Tesla right now, Tesla pulled back, but Tesla did the same thing, right? I was telling you guys, we need to see it come down. We want it to come down, bounce off this 200, and then go up to the upside. But when it opened up, it closed the gap and then come up and break. And I got in right up here once it breaks. So I'm still in Tesla calls right now. I still like it to the upside. Remember, we have earnings next week as well. So with that, we're above the 200. So with that, we still could push to the upside, right? Now, as far as tomorrow, okay, as far as tomorrow. Now, guys, let me just go ahead and stop and say, hey, if you appreciate what I'm doing as far as giving the content and it makes sense and you like what I'm doing, just do me a favor. Just go ahead, hit the like button, leave a comment, let me know what I'm doing, if I'm doing it good, if you understand, and you like what you're seeing, okay? Apart from that, I appreciate you being here. I appreciate you taking your time to watch this video. So with that said, trade that I'm looking at for tomorrow is going to be GS. Okay. Now GS is in a funny spot, right? But we saw a rejection off of GS right here. So the rejection came right off of here at that 717 level, a break below here, and we could continue to fall. Okay. Now, the thing is this, we have to watch on the weekly time frame, because what happens with a weekly is that we came down and we closed this gap. So realistically, we can bounce or stay within this area tomorrow. We could stay within this range. Let me get this. So we could stay within this range right here for tomorrow and not break between that range, just bounce between here and create an inside bar, right? So that's a possibility, because this, remember, this is a weekly candle. Okay, so we already have the range set up on the weekly. And tomorrow, I mean, either way, even if we break this candle, if we break this candle, then we're looking to come back down to test weekly low. Now you have some areas right here. So you have this area right here where this is a lot of support level right here. Okay. So we could come to that level, which is 960, 696.50 area. So we could come right here as far as target if we break down. Now, a potential for this, you want to see, you don't want to see a gap down. I don't trade gap downs. I don't trade gap downs. So I would like to see it come up or open right flat, or gap up a little bit, reject off of VWAP right here, and then break. If it reject off of VWAP and break to the downside, then we could come down, okay? So these are the targets. Of course, you have 700 right here. That's the bottom, okay? So right at 700, and then just continue down and come down, right? Now, we have gaps to fill along the way. There's small gaps and there's some big gaps, okay? There's some little teeny gaps right here. This is a gap up. might be a little small, teeny gap, but it's still a gap. Okay. So you have a gap right here. Okay. That needs to be filled. Then you have a bigger gap right here that needs to be filled to the downside. Right. So those are gaps that need to be filled. Now, gap don't have to fill right away. I'm just telling you that on the day chart, if a candle gaps up, this is just a clue for you guys. If a can if you're watching a chart on like a 15-minute time frame, and that chart, that candle gap up, that gap will close on the day. Before day ends, that most likely will close. Okay. If you're watching on the day chart during the day the time frame, and a candle gap down, it most likely will close that gap during the day. Now what it won't do is, it don't have to do is, if it gap up in after hours and you have a new day chart like it did right here, it doesn't have to close right away. These don't have to close right away. These could take days, it could take weeks, it could take months for those to close. So if somebody's trading this and be like, "Oh, we gapped up. Let me go ahead and buy puts right now because it have to close the gap." No, it don't have to close right away. Some people play like that and you end up losing a lot of money because you're trading, talking about catching falling knives or all kind of bullshit. But at the end of the day, you want to make sure that you're trading properly and trading smart. Okay. So you could do that if you want, but now if you buy right here puts and we keep going up, then you have to keep averaging and keep averaging. And when it's coming down, the pullback right here, you're hoping that you're averaging enough and averaging at the top for you to come down here and actually be in profit. But when we go up here, now you're losing money again. So those are the things that you have to bear in mind, guys, when you're trading. As far as this GS is Goldman Sachs, by the way. So if you guys don't know, that's Goldman Sachs. So that lets you know that's gonna be the potential as far as tomorrow. I'm gonna throw in a bonus like I always do and give you an extra one. Google is looking like a favorite for me right now as far as for tomorrow. Now, Google is already in a range for the week. Okay. Google came down, bounced off of VWAP perfectly, and then come up to the highs right here. Now, I think we did trade Google this week. I'm not sure. I would just have to check our trade history as far as profit flex, but I think we did trade Google this week. Um, so no, I looked to trade Google, but I didn't trade Google. A couple times I looked to trade Google, but Google didn't give it for me, I believe. Or I think I did trade it right here on that day. I might. I might. But either way, guys, Google broke to the upside. Google is bullish for me as far as the week. But again, remember, tomorrow is Friday. So we could just consolidate. There's no news tomorrow. Okay. So for tomorrow, there's no news. So in a sense, we could be sideways. Actually, at 10 o'clock, we have these news coming out. So that could be something that moved the market a little bit more. But in a sense, if we break this high right here, then we could push more. If we break this high right here for Google, then our next target will be right up here. Okay. At I'll say 8750. 187.50 would be that next target. That will be the next psych level, by the way. Okay. That's also your premium contract. That's going to be the contract that you're going to be able to buy with options. It's either 185 or 187. Okay, so pay attention to those for tomorrow. Google is going to be a good one that you could pay attention to. Now, Google long term, yes, you could look at Google long term. Google already broke the month to the upside. I spoke about that. So Google to the upside, we're gonna probably come up and test um, minimum right here. Okay. Now, bear in mind if this market decides to pull back, Google can form, because you have to train your eyes to see certain things. Google can form a head and shoulders on the monthly. Okay. And by head and shoulders, this is your first shoulder that form, right? So your first shoulder that form right here. And then you have the head right here, right? This is the neck. and then right here you're coming up, and then right here touching right here is going to be a major sign. If we consolidate up here and reject, then once we start coming down, if we break right here, then we know that we're going to fall, and we're going to fall hard, because at that point we're going to have a head and shoulders. Now, do I see that happening, especially with Google and everything creating all-time highs? Nah, not really. Not really. I don't see that happening. Okay. Um, but either way, anything can happen in the market. I'm not a genie. We just here to look and analyze what we're seeing, and then make money each day from that. All right, guys. So that is my potential trades for tomorrow. Um, if you want to learn more as far as in the Discord, I have other trades, but I can't be giving you guys all the sauce. If you want to learn more about trading, why I look at certain things, how I look at certain things, come on ahead and join in our Discord. It's called Married to the Market. And we do live trading every single day in there as well. So you could come in our live trading. Apart from that, guys, thank you so much for your time. And I'll see you guys tomorrow. All right. Bye.